I am Jorie Mae Ruinato together with Reizene Sarmiento, and we will discuss about clauses as parts of noun phrases, adjective phrases, adverb phrases, and prepositional phrases. Clauses in noun phrase. Again, a clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. Noun phrase is a phrase that has a noun as it says or performs the same grammatical functions as noun. So, modifiers in a noun phrase. A modifier is an optional element in the phrase structure or clause structure which modifies the meaning of another element in the structure. In the sentence, the best things in life are free, the noun phrase is the best things in life. And we have two nouns in this sentence, the words best and life, and are free is our modifier. So another, clauses in a noun phrase or clausal modifiers in a noun phrase. In the sentence, but the things that Daniel likes are best are not free. Here, our noun phrase is but the things that Daniel likes best, and are not free is our modifier. Clauses in adjective phrase. An adjective phrase is a group of words that describes a noun or pronoun in a sentence. In the sentence, Ana Maria was unsure about her pronunciation. Ana Maria is our noun, was is our verb, and adjective phrase is placed before or after the noun or pronoun. The adjective phrase is unsure about her pronunciation. So next, again, clauses in adjective phrase and clausal modifiers in adjective. In the sentence, Desiree was unsure how to pronounce the word. Desiree is our noun, was is our verb, and our adjective phrase is unsure how to pronounce the word. Clauses in adverb phrase. So, an adverb is simply a group of two or more words that function as an adverb in a sentence. Modifiers in an adverb. In a sentence, Lori talks incredibly slowly. Lori is our noun, talks is our verb, incredibly slowly is an adverb, is our adverb phrase. So another, clausal modifiers in an adverb. In the sentence, Jake talks more slowly than he should. Jake is our noun, talks is our verb, more slowly than he should is our adverb phrase. So, clauses in the prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrases is a group of words containing a preposition, a noun or pronoun, object of the preposition, and any modifiers of the object. Complements in the prepositional phrases. So, in the sentence, Gwen insisted on plenty of rehearsals. Gwen is our noun, insisted is our verb, on plenty of rehearsal is our prepositional phrases. Another, clausal complements in prepositional phrases. In the sentence, Chris insisted on coming to everyone. Chris is our noun, insisted is our verb, and on coming to everyone is our prepositional phrase. So here, can you find the phrases and their clausal modifiers and complements? And the number one sentence, reports that Cory jumped 6 meters are exaggerated. Number 2, Mineta wishes she had enough money to go to Colombia next summer. Number 3, Tricia's kid brother is so hard to handle. Number 4, Shelly went shopping without taking her purse. Number 5, Devi took the artwork the children had done home with her last night. Number 6, the virus grew faster than we predicted. So, I hope you got it right. Here are the phrases and their clausal modifiers and complements. Number 1, noun phrase, reports that Cory jumped 6 meters. Number 2, enough money to go to Colombia next summer. Prepositional phrases. Number 3, so hard to handle, which is our adjective phrase. And number 4, without taking her purse, is adverb phrase. Number 5, the artwork the children had done is our prepositional phrase. Number 6, faster than we expected is an adverb phrase. Clauses in the noun phrase. Clausal complements. Reports that Cory jumped 6 meters are exaggerated. That Cory is our modifier and our exaggerated is our complementizer, which means it is a functional category that includes those words that can be used to turn a clause into the subject or object of a sentence. Number 2, the fact that Jeff jumped 7 meters was ignored. That Jeff is our modifier and was ignored is our complementizer. In the third sentence, I don't believe the story that Troy jumped 9 meters. That Troy is our modifiers and I don't believe is our complementizer. The fourth sentence, Chris, who was the only one to see the jumps, insists that the stories are true. Chris, who was the only person to see the jumps, is our modifier, and insists that the stories are true is our complementizers. So, clausal complements are sisters to the head N. So look at these pictures. Clausal complements are sisters to the head N. The sentence, the fact that Jeff jumped 7 meters. So another exercise. Clauses in the noun phrase. Can you find the clausal modifiers in the sentence? I want to go to the party with a nice guy. Second, I want to go with a guy who treats me right. Third, I don't want to go with a guy I don't like. Fourth, I don't want to go with a guy I've never spoken to. And last, I don't want to go with a guy whose nose is bigger than mine. I hope you guessed it right. Here are the clausal modifiers. In the first sentence, I want to go to the party with, the underlined words is a nice guy, which is our clausal modifiers. In the second sentence, a guy who treats me right. And in the third, a guy I don't like is our clausal modifiers. A guy I've never spoken to is our clausal modifier. And last, whose nose is bigger than mine is our clausal modifier. So, clausal modifiers in a noun phrase. Clausal modifiers in a noun phrase are restrictive relative clauses. In the sentence, I want to go with a guy who treats me right, who is our relative pronoun. Before I'll let you find the relative pronouns in these sentences, a relative pronoun marks a relative clause that serves the purpose of conjoining modifying information about an antecedent. So in the first sentence, I want to go with a guy who treats me right. Second, I don't want to go with a guy I don't like. Third, I don't want to go with a guy I've never spoken to. And fourth, I don't want to go with a guy whose nose is bigger than mine. So I hope you'll guess it right. And finally, here are the relative pronouns. In a sentence, I want to go with a guy who or that treats me right. Our relative pronoun is the word who. And in the second sentence is also who that I don't like is our relative pronouns. And also in the third sentence, who is our relative pronoun. And in the fourth sentence, whose is our relative pronoun. So relative pronouns leave a trace. I want to go with a guy who treats me right. I don't want to go with a guy I don't like. And I don't want to go with a guy if I've never spoken to. I don't want to go with a guy whose nose is bigger than mine. So I know you have questions in mind. What is trace? And I will leave it to Reizene Sarmiento to report about that. And restrictive relative clauses are sisters to N.
Good day everyone, I am Reizene Sarmiento, one of the reporter for today. What is trace? A trace is left by a word or phrase that has moved. If an element X has been moved in the course of a derivation, it has left a trace in its original P position. Some examples are, you like eating porridge. What do you like eating? So basically, traces identify and answer the WH question. A trace is what is left behind in a position in which the moved constituent appeared at some deep level of syntax or some point in the derivation before surface syntax. Hence, instead of using blank to mark the base position of a constituent that is moved, a T or trace is used. Challenges to pied piping and to stranding. Some prescriptive grammarians advise against stranding prepositions. For example, they don't like, what did you bring that book? I don't like to read out of a pour. But pied piping won't work with phrasal verbs. Here's an example with put up with. This is nonsense up with which I will not put. Pied piping in relative prepositional construction, that is a picture that may indicate formal speech, and stranding of the preposition is usually looked upon as less formal, where variation between the two constructions is possible. That's all. Thank you. Restrictive or non-restrictive. So here, you will guess which sentence is restrictive and non-restrictive. I will be giving you only 5 seconds to answer it. So, if your answer in the first sentence is non-restrictive and to the second sentence is restrictive, then you are correct. Wanna contraction. Let me define first what contraction is. A contraction is a shortened version of the spoken and written forms of a word, syllable, or word group created by omission of internal letters and sound. Wanna contraction. This is a well-known argument that traces are real comes from wanna contraction. Traces can keep you from controlling words like changing want to wanna. Like, think about this example. Who does Christy want to vote for? Who does Christy wanna vote for? And who does Christy want to win? Who does Christy wanna win? One way to explain this contrast is to assume that the trace left behind by the extraction of who in the second example blocks the contraction of want to. That shows us that the question the trace, and without this explanation it would not be available. The traces are kind of placeholder for the words that got shifted around, and if you ignore the trace, the sentence might get broken. That shows us that the question and its answer must be related rather than them being built independently. And the way they related is through moving things around. If you didn't have those traces, if they weren't left in the structure that you're building once you move the original word, then your system could stick other elements in there and just gum up the whole sentence work. Relative pronouns as adverbials in the restrictive clause. The captain told us the time when that /o we would land. And he told us the place where that /o we would land. But he didn't tell us the reason why that /o we were going there. Those are just sentences that answer the WH questions. So in the first sentence, we have here adverbials, which is the captain told us the time. So here, he refers to the time they landed. In the second sentence, our adverbials are, and he told us the place. Our relative pronouns are the ones in the brackets. The same goes for the third sentence. Restrictive. Relative pronoun may be WH or dot or /O. Relative pronoun may only be WH. The restrictive clause contains information that restrict the reference of the head noun. Commas cannot surround the restrictive clause. Non-restrictive. Relative pronoun may only be WH. The head noun has a specific reference and the restrictive clause provides additional information about the head noun. Stranding and Pied Piping. Example number 1. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Number 2. I wish I had a river that I could skate away on. Number 3. I wish I had a river which I could skate away on. Number 4. I wish I had a river on which I could skate away. The relative pronoun is pai by the preposition. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that heads an adjective clause. The relative pronouns are that, which, who, whom, and whose. A preposition is a word or group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase to show direction, time, place, location, spatial relationships, or to introduce an object. Some examples of prepositions are words like in, at, on, of, and to. So, pied piping. Pied piping is the construction in which a preposition is moved to the front of its clause, just before its object. Preposition is stranding, sometimes called p-stranding, is the syntactic construction in which a preposition with an object occurs somewhere other than immediately adjacent to its object. For example, at the end of a sentence, the preposition is then described as stranded, hanging, or dangling. Non-restrictive relative clauses. In non-restrictive relative clause, we will use who or whom for living things and which for non-living things. And there is an exception that we can use, and that is the word that. So the rules for this is the relative pronouns in non-restrictive clause provide additional, non-essential information that need to be shown by commas before and after relative clause. As you can see guys, the underlined words are represented as restrictive relative clause, while the rest is basically the non-restrictive relative clause. Let's try the first example. Julia, who is the girl I went to the party with, lives next door. So who is the girl I went to the party with are non-restrictive relative clause, and we use WH question, which is who, because we were talking about Julia, something that is living thing. Challenges to pied piping and to stranding. Some prescriptive grammarians advise against stranding prepositions. For example, they don't like, what did you bring that book? I don't like to read out of a pour. But pied piping won't work with phrasal verbs. Here's an example with put up with. This is nonsense up with which I will not put. Pied piping in relative prepositional construction, that is a picture that may indicate formal speech, and stranding of the preposition is usually looked upon as less formal, where variation between the two constructions is possible. That's all. Thank you.